So what happens when the rules, the structures, the very fabric of civilization just disappears? Are people, inherently good? Or does society simply hold back a monster already lurking inside us, maybe just waiting? Today, we're diving headfirst into William Golding's chilling 1954 masterpiece, Lord of the Flies.
A book that definitely doesn't leave you feeling comfortable.
Not at all. And Golding himself, well, he was a former Royal Navy officer. He saw firsthand the sheer chaos and, frankly, the atrocities of World War II.
Right.
And that experience, it deeply shaped his worldview. It led him to this pretty haunting conclusion. Humanity's greatest threat isn't some external enemy. It's a darkness that resides within us all.
Yeah, and that conviction, you feel it on every single page. It really fuels the whole narrative.
It does.
Even the title itself, Lord of the Flies, it's like a stark warning right from the start. It's the direct translation of Beelzebub and a name, often associated with the devil.
So right from the cover.
Exactly. Golding's signaling this isn't going to be your typical feel-good island adventure story. No. He's deliberately subverting that classic optimistic narrative like the Coral Island. He's arguing that maybe the whole idea of innocence is just an illusion, perhaps even a dangerous one.
And that's really our mission for this deep dive, to try and peel back the layers of Lord of the Flies. We want to explore its powerful themes, its incredible use of symbolism, and maybe most unsettling, its chilling parallels to our own modern world.
It definitely holds up a mirror.
It does. So let's start with that really fundamental question the book throws at us. Is evil something external that corrupts us, or is it, innate, part of human nature?
That's a question literature has wrestled with for, centuries. You think about the classic Faustian legend, for instance.
Right, Faust.
In that kind of story, evil comes from an external bargain, doesn't it? Faust, the scholar, he's tempted by the devil, Mephistopheles, offers him knowledge, power, all in exchange for his soul.
It's a deal, a conscious choice.
It's a conscious choice, exactly. An outside offer that leads to corruption. The source of the wickedness is clearly outside the person.
But Golding, he takes a completely different path here, almost the inverse, wouldn't you say? There's no external devil, no Mephistopheles showing up with a contract.
No bargain. No, it's far more insidious. In Lord of the Flies, when Simon, who's probably the novel's most perceptive character, when he confronts that pig's head on a stick, the literal Lord of the Flies.
Yeah, that scene is chilling.
It is. The head doesn't try to tempt or corrupt him with offers. Instead, it tells him something absolutely terrifying, something that gets right to the core of Golding's philosophy. It says, I'm part of you. Close, close, close.
Ugh.
This isn't external corruption at all. It's an internal revelation. Golding himself, he put it very starkly, he said, evil is as natural and inevitable as honey from a bee.
Wow.
As natural as honey from a bee. That really lands differently than a deal with the devil. And what makes it even more shocking is his choice of characters. These aren't, hardened criminals or cynical adults. No, they're children. British schoolboys.
Exactly. Boys who should, by all accounts, represent innocence, untainted by the world. Yet you strip away that societal structure, the adult supervision, and we just watch as their reasoning crumbles under, primal urges, mob psychology, and just raw fear.
It's almost like Golding is holding up a mirror and saying, look, this is what we truly are, underneath that thin veneer of civilization.
It's an incredibly unsettling thought, isn't it? That this beast they're all so terrified of isn't some monster out there in the jungle.
Right, something they can hunt and kill.
But rather, it's a dark, primitive part of every single one of them on that island. A part that, as we see, can be manipulated and exploited to justify, almost unimaginable cruelty.
Absolutely, and that manipulation leads to violence.
So if the beast is truly within, how quickly does this seemingly civilized group actually descend into savagery? Because they do start off trying, right? They have good intentions.
Oh, absolutely. Their initial response is remarkably organized, almost touchingly so. They elect Ralph as their leader. They establish rules. They hold assemblies.
Yes.
They use the conch shell, to decide who gets to speak. It's this small but really profound echo of democratic principles. And their top priority initially is keeping that signal fire burning for rescue. It's almost heartbreakingly optimistic.
It truly is. But what's so unsettling is how quickly that structure, which seems pretty solid at first, just starts to erode. It feels like a slow poison working through the group. What are the first signs?
Well, take the hunting. It begins as a necessity, right, for
Yeah.
food, a rational act. But it rapidly shifts from need to this primal obsession.
Hmm.
And their chance, they morph into something much darker, much more violent. Kill the pig, cut her throat, bash her in. And
Yeah.
from there, the violence just escalates dramatically. First, there's that accidental death of a little blown in the fire, an early sign of their carelessness, their loss of control.
A foreshadowing.
Definitely. Then, the really brutal, frenzied, almost ritualistic slaughter of the sow. That's a turning point. Next, the terrifying, frenzied murder of Simon during the storm. That's pure collective hysteria.
And it doesn't stop there, does it? After Simon, we see Piggy's death, which is deliberate, cold-blooded. And with him goes the conch, shattered.
Right. The symbol of reason and order is literally smashed. And then there's the arbitrary torture of Wilfred, just cruelty for its own sake. It shows how far they've fallen, that they don't even need a reason anymore.
By the end, the island itself, which started as this tropical paradise,
Yeah, like Edom.
is transformed into a scorched, burning hellscape. It perfectly mirrors the boys' moral decay. Golding shows us so clearly. The boys corrupt the island, not the other way around. Our inner state shapes our environment.
It's a powerful visual metaphor.
It really makes you question how quickly any group, even one that seems civilized, can descend when those rules and restraints start to loosen. And this terrifying descent, it's definitely shaped by the two competing models of leadership Golding gives us.
Absolutely. You have Ralph on one side. He embodies that democratic, reasoned approach to leadership. He's focused on long-term survival, on rescue. He's constantly appealing to logic, to the greater good.
Which is better?
Exactly. He asks, which is better, law and rescue, or hunting and breaking things up? But Golding shows us pretty starkly that without real commitment from the group, without the will to enforce rules and maintain order, democracy just collapses. His logic, his appeals, they become kind of futile against raw emotion and fear.
And then on the other side, you have Jack. He represents something far more primal, authoritarian.
Definitely authoritarian.
Mm.
He's driven by fear, incredibly charismatic in his own way, and he offers immediate gratification, protection from the beast, whether it's real or imagined.
He creates the need for protection.
He does. And he delivers tangible things. Meat, painted faces which offer anonymity, thrilling rituals. Fear becomes his greatest political tool. He gives them a simple enemy, the beast, to unite against.
And then there are the little ones. They seem to represent the masses, right? Easily swayed.
Yeah, they represent the masses in any society, I think. Easily frightened, quick to follow whoever offers the most immediate sense of safety, or maybe just the most exciting distractions. They project their own internal fears onto this imagined monster.
And then they latch onto Jack.
And then blindly follow whoever promises to protect them from it. Golding is really showing how easily democracy can fall when fear outweighs reason. How quickly people will give up freedom for a perceived sense of security, embracing a leader who promises easy answers, even if it means becoming savage.
It's unsettling how those dynamics just play out again and again in so many different contexts, even today. And Golding's use of symbolism, wow, it really acts like a kind of slow-burning fuse, doesn't it? Tracking this moral descent in such a visceral way.
He's a master of it. Just think about how these symbols evolve and reflect the boys' unraveling. The conch shell, for instance.
Yeah, the conch.
It starts as this powerful symbol of order, of democracy. Whoever holds it has the right to speak, to be heard. It's about collective good. But as savagery takes over, its power just drains away until it's openly mocked.
Until Roger can just destroy it.
And its shattering, right when Piggy dies, marks the final, absolute collapse of civilized discourse. It's the triumph of brute force.
And Piggy's glasses. They seem like such a simple object, but they carry so much weight.
They really do. They represent intellect, science, reason, the tools of rational thought. But they're also literally necessary for making fire.
Their connection to civilization.
Their only physical connection to civilization and hope, yeah. So their repeated theft and eventual destruction, it directly marks the boys' rejection of rational thought. They're embracing irrational, primal instincts instead.
The signal fire is another one. Starts as this beacon of hope.
Absolutely. Their lifeline to the outside world, their connection back to civilization, it's their main goal, the thing that requires discipline, long-term thinking.
But they let it go out.
They let it go out for hunting, for immediate gratification. And then the devastating irony is that the fire that finally brings rescue isn't their carefully tended signal fire.
No, it's the wildfire Jack sets.
It's the uncontrolled blaze Jack sets to smoke Ralph out, to kill him. So, civilization is saved, ironically, by an act of attempted murder. It shows how even symbols of hope can be twisted into weapons.
And then there's the beast. Maybe the most brilliant and terrifying symbol of them all.
It definitely is. It starts so vaguely, doesn't it? A bad dream, a fear whispered among the little ones. Then it evolves into this imagined external monster, something they have to hunt.
A physical enemy.
Yeah, something tangible. But it's finally revealed by Simon to be just a projection of their own inner darkness, represented literally by that dead parachutist tangled in the trees. The beast isn't out there.
It's inside.
It's the savagery within them.
Which leads directly to the Lord of the Flies itself, that gruesome pig's head, buzzing with flies, rotting on a stick.
It's the horrifying physical manifestation of that internal evil. It embodies their escalating barbarism, and it literally tells Simon the brutal truth. The beast isn't out there, it's in you. It's like this grotesque idol to their own primal instincts.
Even the island itself.
Yeah, even the island changes. From Eden to a scorched wasteland. It mirrors their decay perfectly, emphasizing again, they corrupt the island, not the other way around.
These symbols, they don't just track the descent. They make these abstract ideas, human nature, societal breakdown, they make them tangible, visceral. You can't ignore them. And speaking of truth, the fates of Simon and Piggy, the novel's two truth-tellers, are just profoundly tragic and so central to Golding's message.
Absolutely central. Simon is often seen as this almost Christ-like figure. He has this moral courage, this spiritual insight the others just don't possess. He's the only one who truly understands the beast's real nature, that it's not a creature, it's the darkness inside them, symbolized by the dead parachutist.
And he tries to tell them.
He tries to share this truth, this liberating knowledge. He literally runs down the mountain to tell them, and in their fear and frenzy, they mistake him for the beast.
They kill him.
They tear him apart in this terrifying ritual. His death is this vivid illustration of how collective hysteria, fear, groupthink, it can utterly destroy wisdom. It silences the very voices we most need to hear.
And Piggy, the voice of reason, logic, science, constantly appealing to rules and order. His fate is equally devastating, maybe even more chilling because it's so cold.
Yes, his physical vulnerability, the asthma, the poor eyesight, it mirrors the fragility of reason itself when faced with raw emotion and violence. And his death is chillingly different from Simon's. Simon's death was passionate, frenzied chaos.
Mob violence.
Mob violence. Piggy's death is a cold-blooded, calculated murder by Roger. He deliberately releases that boulder. It's calculated malice.
There's no frenzy there.
No frenzy, just cruelty. So together, their deaths show how violence emerges both from that emotional frenzy and from deliberate, unfeeling cruelty. And the cost of ignoring truth and reason, well, it's devastating.
What's truly unsettling, I think, is how these themes, they don't just stay on a fictional island 60 years ago. The novel's relevance, it just echoes right into our modern world, doesn't it?
It's astonishingly relevant. You can draw lines from the fears and power struggles in Lord of the Flies to so many things happening today. It often feels less like fiction and more like prophecy.
Like what specifically?
Well, think about the spread of disinformation, the way rational expert voices are sometimes silenced or shouted down. Piggy would recognize this world instantly, wouldn't he?
He absolutely would.
Or how leaders sometimes exploit fear to gain control, manufacturing external threats, a beast, to consolidate power and demonize anyone different the other. That dynamic is alive and well.
And we see it in tribalism, too, online and offline. Demonizing anyone outside your group. And the collapse of reasoned discourse. I mean, social media sometimes feels like it's shattered our collective conch. It's just shouting.
Everyone screams, nobody listens.
Yeah.
Exactly. And the erosion of democratic norms when people get scared and start looking for simple, maybe authoritarian solutions. Golding's warning is crystal clear. Civilization isn't self-sustaining.
You have to work at it.
It's delicate. It needs constant, vigilant effort to maintain. Without that effort, it collapses. And fear just makes that collapse happen much, much faster. It's deeply unsettling how often we fail to see our own potential for the savagery we condemn in others.
Which brings us to that ending, the rescue. It seems like salvation, but it's just drenched in tragic irony.
It really is. The naval officer arrives literally seconds before Ralph is about to be killed by Jack's tribe in this full-scale hunt across the burning island. It feels like salvation.
The cavalry arriving.
But then Golding hits you with the devastating twist. The officer arrives on a massive warship, a literal floating symbol of the adult world engaged in its own far grander, far more destructive scale of savagery. War.
And his comment to the boys, it just hangs there, doesn't it? It's so oblivious.
It's maybe the most ironic line in the whole book. When he says, I should have thought that a pack of British boys would have been able to put up a better show than that.
He just doesn't get it.
He completely fails to understand. He sees it as a failure of British character or
Yeah.
discipline, not as a revelation about human nature itself. He doesn't see that they've simply mirrored on their little island the exact same violence and chaos that defines his adult world, a world at war. The rescue doesn't erase what happened.
Yeah, it highlights it.
It exposes it starkly. It shows that the battle between civilization and savagery isn't just out there between nations or groups. It's an ongoing internal battle within every single human heart.
Mm.
So Golding's core message, his enduring warning, is ultimately this. Civilization is fragile. It's a thin shell, constantly battling these darker primal instincts inside us. The beast isn't an outside enemy. It's not a myth.
It's real.
It lives in every society, in every one of us. Rules, laws, institutions, they can restrain it, they can contain it, but they can never truly destroy it. He isn't saying we're doomed, not necessarily, but he is saying we must be incredibly vigilant, constantly aware of that inner darkness, and work tirelessly to build and maintain the structures that keep it in check.
So what does this all mean for us? For you listening right now? It makes you ask, what are our conscious today? What are the symbols, the institutions, maybe the values that keep reason and empathy and constructive dialogue alive in our world, which feels increasingly polarized?
That's the question.
And maybe more importantly, how do we protect them? When fear and tribalism and disinformation threaten to shatter them, just like that conch was shattered on the island.
It takes conscious effort.
Because if Lord of the Flies teaches us anything, it's that the fight against the beast within is never truly over. It's a fight we have to engage in every single day.
Yeah.
Thank you for engaging in this deep dive with us. The beast is real. It lives in every human heart. The question really is, what are you going to do about it? In your own life, in your own communities. We hope you keep thinking about these powerful themes and exploring their relevance in your world.